Hey man, it's your boy TJ, man. We back with another video, man. We got breaking news. We get Steelers get Jalen, Ramsey, and Jonnu in a huge trade with Dolphins for Minkah back with Miami. Damn. We knew Jalen Ramsey was out of here though. It just mattered when. It just mattered when he was gonna get traded though. But Jonnu did good for us, man. But we wasn't finna pay him $12 million. We just ain't finna do it though. But we barely got money, man, to sign players. So I knew we was gonna sign Jonnu. But Ramsey, we knew he was gonna get traded. Minkah, that's a win-win for both sides though. But I feel like Steelers wanted to trade though. Steelers in a win now mode, so it wasn't surprising for them. Steelers going all in right now, but Steelers going all in. But let's check it out though.
We've got breaking news out of the NFL where the Dolphins are trading Jalen Ramsey to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the latest from our Jonathan Jones. As part of the deal, the All-Pro corner will receive a $1.5 million raise this upcoming season. Ramsey has spent the past 2 years in Miami, racking up 5 picks.
I ain't gonna lie though, but we need to sign a corner, boy, because outside of Ramsey, boy, you see our corner room right now, boy, we got freaking stormed up. Jason Marshall and Kader Kohu, the slot corner. Kader Kohu solid though, but come on, fam, we got stormed up. And Jason Marshall, we got straight UDFAs and a 6th round pick as our starting corner. Come on, I ain't gonna lie, bro. We need to sign a corner, bro. We need to get Stephon Gilmore, somebody, Rasul Douglas, somebody. Bring X back. Shit, bring Xavier Howard back. Shit, I'll take it, boy. Cause our corner room right now, boy, look, it ain't looking good, boy. If we was to start the season right now with our secondary, I don't see us winning 4 games, bro. We gotta sign somebody, bro. We got a safety, yeah, but Minkah gonna have to cover so much ground, boy. We play with our secondary right now. I just don't see it happening. We gonna sign somebody.
And 82 tackles in 2024. After a contract dispute with the Fins, he and general manager Chris Greer mutually agreed to work on trade options back in April. Ramsey is the second big addition the Steelers have made at corner this offseason, along with Super Bowl champion Darius Slay. We now bring in our lead NFL insider, Jonathan Jones, to talk a little bit more about this trade. And JJ, this was something we expected at some point, but now it happens. What can you tell us?
So the Dolphins, for some reason, decided to give Jalen Ramsey a raise last year after Pat Surtain became the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. Jalen Ramsey had already been that. They had acquired Jalen Ramsey, obviously from the Rams, and then they decided, okay, let's go ahead and pay him on top of that. They didn't need to, and that deal aged poor.
For the people saying Jalen Ramsey wild, Jalen Ramsey not washed, bro. He not washed. He ain't the same player that he used to be. He still got stuff in the tank, but he ain't washed, bro. I'm telling you, bro. It's like every time players leave us, bro, they end up doing good, bro. I'm telling you, bro. The reason why Minkah and fans saying, oh, Minkah left the Dolphins, why he want to come back, he didn't leave the Dolphins, bro. He left because the coach then put him in the right position that he wanted to play in, bro. He never said he didn't want to play for, he just didn't like the coach in the position he was put to play in. But then he went to the Steelers and figured out he want to play everywhere now, though. That was back then. But, man, Minkah never said he didn't want to play for dog. He just didn't like the situation he was in, bro. And we was in the tanking season that year, bro. We was in the tanking season that year. Ravens beat our ass 56-19, bro. I remember that, bro. Like, shit was crazy, bro. But yeah, bro. That's
not because of his play necessarily, but because the team and Jalen Ramsey just kind of stopped seeing eye to eye. That became extremely clear as the season wore on. And then, of course, in the offseason, or rather in spring workouts, when he was given an excused absence from head coach Mike McDaniel, while other Dolphins were not necessarily participating in that deal, or excuse me, in minicamp, Jalen Ramsey was given that excused absence while the Dolphins worked out a potential trade partner. This could have happened perhaps back at the Combine.
Ramsey was gone.
Could have happened before the draft. No real takers. And now, in the sort of quiet period in the NFL, as folks are all on vacation, they do a deal, the Pittsburgh Steelers with the Miami Dolphins, to get Jalen Ramsey. And I just got a text confirming the news that in return for Jalen Ramsey, the Miami Dolphins are getting Minkah Fitzpatrick in return. So this is a player-for-player swap. We rarely see this in the NFL. You see it in baseball. You see it in basketball. You don't really see it in football. But Minkah Fitzpatrick, who was drafted by the Miami Dolphins in 2018 in the first round, then goes to Pittsburgh, had been playing safety for Pittsburgh, now heading back to Miami. And in this player-for-player swap, Jalen Ramsey now going to play for Mike T and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, this is certainly a new situation. It feels like the juices kind of get flowing a little bit more when you have a player-for-player trade. When you look at this from both sides, can you see reasons why the Dolphins would want to bring Fitzpatrick back as the trade partner sending away Jalen Ramsey?
Wix gives you the freedom to tell your story.
So, you know, Minkah, it wasn't necessarily, I don't know if he was a fit for the Dolphins at the time when I believe Brian Flores was the head coach. And so the Dolphins, you know, in having the contract.
Bro, Minkah made some plays for us when he was with us, bro. Just that, bro, we was in a tanking season. And then he didn't like the position he was played in, bro. He wanted to play. They was moving him all different type of way. He just wanted to play safety. It ain't like he didn't want to play for the Dolphins, bro. Like, he just didn't like the position he played in, so he requested a trade, which a lot of players requested a trade that year. Then he ended up being an all-pro at the Steelers. Now he back. And I feel like, so we ain't got to worry about safety no more for the Dolphins. But damn, it's like, we still got a lot of hoes, bro. Who gonna be the other safety, bro? You see what I'm saying? And then our cornerback room is, besides Minkah, bro, we still got hoes, bro. Our cornerback room is atrocious, bro. I ain't gonna lie. We need definitely design.
That they had with Jalen Ramsey, they probably weren't going to get a high draft pick for Jalen Ramsey. 30 going on 31 years old. Everyone was going to look at this and say, oh my gosh, they only got a 5th round pick, a 4th round pick for Jalen Ramsey. That doesn't make any sense. And so, but they were able to get a player who, in Minkah Fitzpatrick, 28 years old, he'll be 29 halfway through the season, someone who still has plenty of juice. That's a really good acquisition for the Miami Dolphins. Interestingly enough, now you're going to say, well, the Steelers have a hole at safety. Maybe they don't. What if Jalen Ramsey, at 30, going on 31 years old, a Pittsburgh Steelers team that has Darius?
Nah, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Steelers don't got no whole lot of safety, but I ain't gonna. They Steelers, man, y'all know about Deshaun Elliott. Deshaun Elliott, nice, bro. Especially last year. I feel like that's the reason why they moved off Minkah, cause Deshaun Elliott, bro. Deshaun Elliott is a year younger than Minkah too, I think. But that's really why they moved off them. And they got a defense too. I not heard about the TJ Watt. I ain't gonna lie, y'all need to bring TJ Watt back. That's the engine of y'all defense. But I know this about Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu, but Minkah, boy, TJ Watt, boy, that's the engine of y'all defense. But I don't care what secondary y'all got. Y'all don't got him. Screw all that. Y'all need him. That's the man, though. But I feel like Ramsey need to stay at corner. They got Darius Slay. Ramsey should be number 1. Darius Slay number 2. And y'all have Joey Porter in the slot. I ain't gonna lie, I feel like Steelers might sign Justin Simmons. Like, it's good safeties out there. Justin Simmons, Julian Blackman, Quandre Diggs. I don't feel like it's necessary to move Ramsey at safety, though. Just keep him at corner. With Joey Porter, Darius Slay. You feel me? That's good. I ain't gonna lie, but that's a good ass trio, boy.
Slay that has Joey Porter Jr. that now has a hole at safety. What if they do with Jalen Ramsey what we have seen many elite corners ultimately turn into later in their career, on the back half of their career? And we see Jalen Ramsey play a little safety, maybe play a little nickel, come from the outside and come in. Now, I'm sure that he would still remain on the outside in some respects, but could we see a package or maybe even the majority of Jalen Ramsey snaps with the Pittsburgh Steelers under Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator, at safety? Just something to keep an eye on as this news breaks and we're all trying to figure out what exactly this means for both teams.
Yeah, brand new information that's all coming in right here as we process it right here live in front of everyone. And I know that this is something that we still are trying to figure out the ramifications of it. But JJ, when you look at it from each team, which one do you think has the better side of what they got when you're talking player for player? Because it's so much easier when you're not including draft capital and all those things, and we can just go mano a mano.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. And it depends on how you're going to use these guys, right? How they're going to fit in schemes and all of those things. But I'll just look at it from the Pittsburgh Steelers perspective, because this has been an offseason unlike anything we really have seen from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go back to when they went.
Boy, the Steelers, boy, y'all went on in. Y'all definitely Super Bowl contenders, boy. Damn, boy, y'all stop, boy. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all got 2 tight ends, too. Y'all know y'all, because Jonnu a dog, but he had a career in Miami. I wish we would have kept him, but we wasn't paying him $12 million, bro. That was out of the question. But damn, y'all got Pat Fryer move, Jonnu Smith tight end too. So it's gonna be a lot of 12-person personnel with A-Rod, a lot of 2 tight ends set. Y'all got DK, Calvin. I feel like y'all still need another receiver though. Still is not done yet, bro. I'm telling y'all, Steelers ain't done. I feel like they might sign Keenan Allen, bro. Steelers ain't done yet, bro. I ain't gonna lie. The AFC North is crazy right now, but Steelers and Ravens gonna be a movie for sure.
Went out and got DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks and then paid him the way that they did in $30 million per an average annual salary. That is very unlike the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we know over the past decade plus has drafted wide receivers incredibly well and drafted wide receivers not only in the first round but much later and gotten a lot from them. Then, of course, speaking of the drafted wide receivers, George Pickens, in the final year of his rookie contract, the Pittsburgh Steelers said, yeah, we're good. We'll just go ahead and send you to Dallas. We're tired of the tardiness. We're tired of all of the fines that we have to dock. All of these things. We are just going to attempt to win without the extremely talented George Pickens. And then, finally, signing Aaron Rodgers, what they had hoped to do the entire offseason, after knowing that Russell Wilson wasn't going to be back, after hoping to potentially keep Justin Fields, but knowing they weren't going to be able to match whatever another team would pay him.
Let me get this clear about Russell Wilson, bro. A-Rod is an upgrade over Russell. I don't care, bro. I don't care that both of them veterans. A-Rod and Russell Wilson are 2 different leagues, bro. They are 2 different leagues, bro. A-Rod is way better quarterback. Russell Wilson's solid, don't get me wrong, but A-Rod is a way better quarterback, bro. That's a way better upgrade than Russell Wilson. Y'all gonna see, too.
And, of course, that other team was the New York Jets. And so finally getting Aaron Rodgers, another move that is unlike the Pittsburgh Steelers, and waiting as long as they did before he finally agreed to that 1-year contract under $20 million all told. And now getting Jalen Ramsey while sending away Minkah Fitzpatrick. I've never seen anything like this with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You've never seen anything like this with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Grandparents haven't seen anything like this with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is a new day there in the last order of business that the Steelers have, Zach. At this point, well, they have 2. They're going to have to get another pass catcher at some point this preseason. They're going to have to ink T.J. Watt to a mega contract extension.
Yeah, the deals will continue to happen for those of you that are just joining us here as we've reached past the 11 o'clock hour. We are talking Jalen Ramsey.
I need to pay that man whatever he asks for. Agent call, hey, whatever you need, y'all need that, man. I'm telling y'all, bro. Y'all need him, bro. Because it don't matter. Y'all don't got T.J. Watt. Screw Jalen Ramsey. Screw all that shit. Because if y'all pass rushers don't get home, what's the point of having the secondary? You see what I'm saying? I know y'all got Alex Highsmith and other players like that, but T.J. Watt, man, he get the players going for y'all, bro.
Who was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers away from Miami, and in return, Miami getting back Minkah Fitzpatrick, something that is a player-for-player trade that we do not see very often. And, JJ, you've kind of alluded to all the moves that the Steelers have made. Do they feel desperate? Like, what is the sense that you get? Because, like you said, this is not the way Pittsburgh typically operates.
I mean, look at how their seasons have gone. We don't know about Mike Tomlin, who's never had a losing season in his nearly 2-decade career as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's been a long time since they won a playoff game, though, right? I mean, when you look at the last 5 seasons, you have 4 lost in wild cards. So didn't win a playoff game, and 1 year they did not make the playoffs despite going 9-8. So it's been a very long time for this Pittsburgh Steelers team since they won a playoff game, almost a decade. So if you've been doing things one way, maybe it's time to do things the other way, since it hasn't necessarily worked. They never really figured out the post-Ben Roethlisberger years. Even the later Ben Roethlisberger years, of course, did not produce playoff results. And so you get aggressive in free agency. You do things that an organization has never done before. Again, going out and making an outsider, DK Metcalf, the highest paid player on the team. Pittsburgh Steelers don't do that. Waiting and waiting for months on Aaron Rodgers.
I swear those Steelers, boy, if y'all still had George Pickens, though, this roster would have been 10 times. I swear to God. If y'all still would have had Pickens right now with the moves y'all just made, man, boy, y'all probably would have been the favorites to win the Super Bowl. I'm not even on no funny shit, bro. If y'all still would have had Pickens right now, bro, y'all would have been Super Bowl favorite for sure. I feel like y'all defense better than the Ravens, though, for sure. For sure, y'all defense better than the Ravens. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Cause think about it, before the players they add now, they had a winning season. Before all the players they added now they just got better. Come on, fam. You don't think they're gonna be better than what they? Come on, fam.
The quarterback. You know, you're supposed to be proud to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're supposed to run to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers didn't do that, right? He just.
Guess what, y'all? Though, even though we traded y'all, we still see y'all though. We still finna beat y'all, bro. So I don't care what y'all got, but we coming. We ain't done making moves either. I know our cornerback room looking like shit right now, but we ain't done, bro. We ain't done. We gonna sign Gilmore, bro. And we gonna sign Rashawn Douglas, bro. And we might sign Justice. We gonna sign 3 of them niggas, bro. We gonna sign at least out of the 3. We gonna sign somebody, bro. Dolphins ain't going to the season with the cornerback room they got. And if they do, bro, fire everybody. Don't give a fuck. Fire everybody.
Pulled up in a Chevy Malibu, his rental car, and said, I'll talk with you guys later. And then finally, in June, got the playbook. And finally showed up to mandatory minicamp, got a couple of days' work. And you trade away a George Pickens. Well, that's not unlike the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've seen them cut ties with wide receivers maybe a year earlier than a year later. But this is something, again, it's unusual for the league, player for player. But to send another player that you acquired from that team back to that team years later, that's interesting. And then going after Jalen Ramsey, one of the best corners in the modern game. Again, very un-Pittsburgh Steelers-like, but it shows that they know that their way has not worked lately. I don't know, and they don't know, if this new way is going to work. They're going to get...
You deserve the best. At Harbor Freight, you can afford it. We design our own tools with performance.
Give it a shot in 2025.
Yeah, when you
I know y'all tired of going to the first round playoffs to get... I know y'all tired of that, bro. I know y'all tired of that. Y'all better make some noise with this roster y'all got, boy. I believe y'all will, though. I feel like, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I feel like Steelers might even win the division game over the Ravens. I swear. I got the Steelers winning the division, bro.
At this pairing of Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey together, what type of chance does this give them to maybe slow down the tandems that you see in Cincinnati and all those pass catchers for maybe them making that next step and getting that playoff win that they so desperately want?
Yeah, I mean, this is a Pittsburgh Steelers team that we know has been dominated by and led by the defense over the last couple of years. I mean, you just look at it, and they were 8th in points last year, 6th in points allowed the year before that. You know that you have a game wrecker in T.J. Watt up front. He's the guy that, if you're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers the upcoming Sunday, on Monday, you're already saying, okay, how do we figure out T.J. Watt? What are we doing so that he does not completely wreck our offensive game plan? And so then you just work your way out from there. And so, you know, Darius Slay, who obviously showed that he has plenty left in the tank this past.
We gonna show y'all, nigga, remember this shit. Week 15, Monday Night Football, we gonna show y'all, bro. We still gonna beat y'all, bro. I don't care, bro. I don't care about what y'all got. I don't care about Ramsey. I don't care about none of that. Ramsey, op boy, when we see him week 15, op boy. We still gonna beat y'all, man. I don't care about none of that trade you got.
Season, and then Jalen Ramsey. Again, I don't know that they're going to play them both outside. If Jalen Ramsey, now that they have a hole at safety, there's one of these guys, 30 plus.
I'm saying they got a hole. They don't have a whole lot. See, y'all forgot y'all got Deshaun. I feel like why people keep sleeping on Deshaun Elliott, bro. Deshaun Elliott played better than Minkah last year. You really want to think about it. He played better than Minkah last year. If you really want to think about it, Minkah not washed either, but I'm hearing Steelers fans talking about Minkah. Why y'all just mad because he left y'all team? He not washed, bro. Stop with all that. But Deshaun Elliott, bro, he good, bro. Y'all keep sleeping on Deshaun Elliott, bro. He good. I feel like y'all still could sign another safety to replace Minkah. I feel like they might sign Justice Simmons, bro. Or Quandre Diggs or Julian Blackman. They gonna sign somebody though. But I really feel like they gonna sign Justice Simmons. I don't know why, bro, but I feel like Steelers gonna sign Justin Simmons, bro. I'm telling y'all. Remember I said this, bro.
guys go to safety all the time, sometime, part of the time. Something certainly to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, week 15 is when you will see a Steelers and Dolphins matchup. And JJ, I know that we are busy talking here right now. I look over at my computer, I'm seeing more buzzing news come in. So not even to throw something onto your plate right here as a shocker, but this is what I'm seeing, reports coming in right now. You mentioned pass catcher of what the Steelers need. It looks like potentially that the Steelers are trading and getting in Jonnu Smith, the tight end from the Dolphins. If that is true, does that solve the issues that you were just alluding to that the Steelers need to fix with pass catcher?
Yeah, exactly. There were two orders of business left for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was getting another pass catcher. It's extending T.J. Watt. And T.J. Watt, that money is going to come in somewhere around $40 million in average annual salary. That's the Myles Garrett deal. That's going to have to figure itself out at some point over the next month.
Run a lot of two tight ends.
Jonnu Smith, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had their eye on him for some time. He had said he wanted to stay in Miami, hoped to work out a deal with Miami. He signed a 2-year deal last year, played a hell of a year this past season, and frankly was probably underpaid. The Miami Dolphins said, not entirely sure about that. And so the Pittsburgh Steelers were poking around both for a wide receiver too, knowing that they had jettisoned George Pickens, but also maybe another tight end. We know they have Pat Freiermuth. They love Pat Freiermuth, but they needed somebody else to catch a pass out there, right? And so what we have been reporting for more than a month now was that they were going to get a pass catcher, never specifying whether it was a wide receiver or a tight end. And now we know it's going to be Jonnu Smith rejoining Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator there with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm telling y'all, bro, that Jonnu Smith wasn't a Steelers move. That was an A-Rod move. I'm telling y'all, bro. A-Rod brought Jonnu Smith here, bro. Jonnu Smith was an A-Rod move, but that was an A-Rod decision. I'm telling y'all, bro. A-Rod brought Jonnu in, bro.
And so they will be joining forces again. Jonnu Smith coming off an incredible year. The Pittsburgh Steelers getting another pass catcher, something that they desperately needed. And so now, when you look at their depth chart, you say, well, this is a formidable depth chart. This is a team that, look, you got to believe in Aaron Rodgers, right? If you think that they are going to compete in January, you only think that because you believe that Aaron Rodgers still has some stuff left, right? And I will say that in the second half of last year,
Lowe's knows that as life changes, so do your priorities. Painting the town red.
He seemed to be getting healthier from the Achilles, right? There was a lot of bad around him with the New York Jets, and he was not particularly good at points. But I do believe that you can, a reasonable person can believe that Aaron Rodgers can still deliver at 41 years old. And so now that he continues to be surrounded by talent, and now that you have a defense that is certainly going to lead the way, that is certainly going to dominate, makes things a whole lot easier for Aaron Rodgers and these Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, live TV not making the job too easy for us right here, JJ, because it appears that it is all just one trade, a combo of Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith heading over to Pittsburgh in exchange for Minkah Fitzpatrick. And I know that you've been talking to us here right now, so you haven't even been able to work the phones and everything like you normally would. So I don't even want to ask you too much because that'll put you in a spot where it's like, hey, you can't do your due diligence. So I'll just say one last thing to you right here. As we sit here, the end of June, a trade like this before training camp, how seismic of a move is this?
It's a big move. It's certainly something that had been considered by both sides for some time. Again, Jalen Ramsey and the Dolphins, they knew at Combine, so that's late February, that they weren't going to be partners anymore. The Rams were high up on the list. Sean McVay wasn't shy about talking about how much he loved Jalen Ramsey. But they never seemed to be in a huge rush to acquire Jalen Ramsey. And so those conversations between Chris Grier, the GM of the Dolphins, and Omar Khan surely have been going on for some time. We've known that Pittsburgh has had some interest in Jonnu Smith for some time. But, you know, sometimes deadlines spur action, sometimes they don't. Because these aren't real deadlines. Zach, like, we get to minicamp, you and I
was surprised we, like, traded this nigga, bro, because he broke records with us, bro. Like, we didn't have a tight end good as Jonnu Smith since Mike Gesicki. And to me, he was better than Mike Gesicki, bro. So how we going, now we added another hole. Not only secondary, but now we got a tight end, bro. We got freaking Julian Hill starting that tight end, Tanner Corner, bro. Come on, fam. We need something, dog. Like, we got a trick, like I said, bro. Hopefully, I heard Dolphins was in talks, trading for a tight end, bro. Like, we need a tight end, bro. Like, get Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is my top one. We need to go grab. Shit, even Mark Andrews. Shit, try to trade for Mark Andrews. Shit. Try to trade for Mark Andrews, bro. Cause Likely look like he finna be that guy in Baltimore. Well, soon. Man, or Max Mayer, bro. Somebody, bro. We need to trade for somebody, gang.
Come on here and we say, oh, what's going to happen? Well, nothing has to happen. Nothing had to happen in mid-June when people reported to mandatory minicamp. Nothing had to happen before they broke for summer. And deals can always get done at any point. People can be vacationing in Cabo. I bet you, of these 3 men, one of them is in Cabo right now. And they just got dealt. So these things can take place at any point. I would say personally, I'm very happy it did not happen later in the week as we all are celebrating America's birthday. I'm happy that it happened today on this beautiful Monday morning as we continue to learn more about this very unusual, but let me just say, pretty awesome deal. I'm really happy that a deal like this happened in the NFL because
I'm like, this is probably the best trade that happened all year, gang. I ain't gonna keep it a buck. I know George Pickens, DK got traded, but this trade right here, this the trade of the season, boy. I ain't gonna lie. This the trade of the offseason. I don't care what nobody say.
We just don't see it. When we have those graphics up, we usually have NBA teams, right? You usually don't see NFL teams with those logos and player and draft pick. You never see that in the NFL. But these two GMs, Chris Greer and Omar Khan, putting their heads together, saying, out with the old, in with the new. I want these guys. You may not want this one guy. You want this other guy. Let's work it out. Let's figure it out.
I ain't gonna lie, dog. Y'all can say what y'all want about Chris Greer. Shit, I want him going too, but I want him out of here. But you can't say he ain't trying to like build a good team. You can't say he ain't trying, gang. You ain't say because we could have just got draft capitals. I ain't gonna lie, we just would have got draft capitals, no players. We would have been screwed. We would have lost Jonnu and Ramsey with no players. Just draft capital, just late round picks. We would have been screwed. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm glad we got a pick. I'm glad Greer used his head and got us a player, all-pro player. Damn, bro. Greer's been making some moves this offseason, but I still want him gone, bro. I don't give a damn. Unless we win a playoff game this year, bro, then I'll think about it, bro. But
and so they have.
Still need to get up out of here.
I'm very happy about this in the NFL. Maybe we are turning a page where it's not just player for draft pick compensation. Maybe it's not just a salary dump. Maybe we can enter into this brave new beautiful world where we go player for player.
Yeah, JJ, I think that makes things fun. It makes things interesting, and it allows us to have a whole lot of conversations that I would say are probably just now beginning, because as this dust settles from the trade, you have the opportunity to do all your due diligence. I will not be shocked if we see you a little bit later down the road. Jonathan Jones, our lead NFL insider, thank you so much. And taking a look once again at the reported trade that has evolved since we first came up with this breaking news. As it stands right now, we are reporting, or at least hearing, that it's Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, along with the 2027 7th-round pick, headed over to the Steelers in exchange for the Dolphins getting Minkah Fitzpatrick, another player, and a 2027 5th-round pick. The trade that might shake things up in the NFL moving forward. Keep it with HQ. We'll have you live.
Trade. Man, that's the end of that video, dude. Damn, that's a good-ass trade. Hey, Steelers fans, tell me how y'all feel about it, and Dolphins fans, tell me how y'all feel about it. I really feel like it's a win on both sides, dude. Think about it. Got player for player. Ramsey was up there in age. He didn't want to be here no more. We traded him to a contending team. Hopefully he do something to Jonnu Smith and get paid. He wanted to stay in Miami, but hey, he got paid. And he went to the Steelers. So, hey, man. Good trade for both sides, man. But that's the end of that video, man. Made it this far. Make sure you like and subscribe. TJ up.